This explains all those cute selfies that all the gym girlies take, and everyone's like, you don't have to always post your pictures every time you finish working out. Yes, we do. That was hard work we just put in there. Hey everyone, my name is Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Pilates versus weightlifting. So let's look at the two and let's see which one's best. All right, let's start with weightlifting. What weightlifting does best? It builds strength. It builds power. It also builds bone density, especially if you're a woman. This is really important as you age. Bone density declines. It also helps with your metabolism as you lift heavy. When you lift heavier, you feel stronger, you look stronger, you feel better. This explains all those cute selfies that all the gym girlies take, and everyone's like, you don't have to always post your pictures every time you finish working out. Yes, we do. That was hard work we just put in there. This also improves athletic performance. So this is also better as functional strength. Look, if you're a boy mom, you know. How is Pilates the star of the show? It improves posture, corrects muscle imbalances. It also helps with mobility and flexibility. It also improves mind and body connection. Pilates also helps with joint stability and recovery. So it's something that you can use for like an active recovery day or something that you want to use as a warm up. If I'm going to do like both one day, then I'll do Pilates before I do weight. Pilates also helps with breathing mechanic, that lateral rib cage breathing, which also helps with nervous system regulation, also helps with injury prevention. The misconception about Pilates is it's just stretching. I swear when somebody finds out I'm a Pilates instructor or I recommend Pilates, they're always saying, I'm not flexible. And I'm like, it's not just stretching. Like it's more than that. When I teach and I have men in my class, it is so fun. They're muscle men and they come in and they're like, wow. I have a guy who comes in and he does jujitsu. He mentioned that his back was hurting. And ever since he's been coming to class, he's been talking about how it's really improved. Misconceptions about weightlifting, that it makes you bulky. Look, if somebody wants to be bulky, they'll be bulky, okay? You don't just roll out of bed. You don't just lift 10 pounds and then you're bulky. If a woman is bulky, she's bulky on purpose, okay? I'm trying to bulk up. It's taking me a minute. If I were to get any bulkier, it's because I am choosing to become bulky. I get it. Some people have, hormone imbalances, but most of the time, women do not have as much testosterone as men. So now we're going to talk about where they both can fall short. Where Pilates can fall short, it's a little bit harder to progressively overload, and it may not build like muscle mass on its own, where weightlifting can fall short if you don't have any like mobility. Recovery sometimes can get ignored. When you're neglecting flexibility and mobility, it's very easy to get injured super quick. I know so many football players who have came to my class and they have injuries and now they're telling their friends, yo, like don't neglect stretching or doing hip mobility exercises because that's how they got injured. If you do have poor form, it will create muscle imbalances. And if you are ego lifting, it will destroy your joints. I've noticed that a lot of women have been trying not to lift weights because they're saying Pilates is way better. And I'm like, look, I get it. At the same time, you need to lift for your bone density. It is important for you to have muscle mass. And so people also come to Pilates classes and they think, why am I not losing weight? To be quite honest, if you really want to see that body recomp going, you lift weights. If you got injured and you don't know what you're doing, get a personal trainer. Go online. There are tons of videos on the internet that help you understand how to properly lift weights, what muscles that you should feel when you're doing bicep curls, when you're doing lat raises, when you're doing a leg press. If you're doing it wrong, what will you be feeling? What should you not be feeling in that exercise? You need flexibility, you need mobility, you need strength, you need both. So if you're a weightlifter, would you be willing to incorporate Pilates? If you're Pilates, would you be willing to incorporate weightlifting? This can look like 3 days of weightlifting, 2 days of Pilates. 5 days of weightlifting, 2 days of Pilates. It can look like that, okay? This concludes the video, y'all. We're gonna finish off our talking series with our last video coming up next Thursday with the cycle syncing code, how to train like a woman, stop training like a man. If this video helped you, go ahead and share a like, comment, and subscribe down below, y'all. I will see you in the next video. Peace.